respect says in and out again, in and out again. um, well, um, I'm not leaving out of this with full disappointment because I'm gonna say that right now, like the DLC is fun. It's a fun DLC. Um, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Not to the point where it was like, oh my god, like you guys got to get the DLC. Now I will say this though, that this DLC has literally explained a lot of things that that has literally added closure to the original game. First of all, Frey's attitude, the way how she carries herself, it all explains itself on this DLC because you begin to play with her as she begins to go through the traumatic journey with her and her mother. And I was beginning to realize that her mother acts a lot like Frey. She acts a lot like her, acts like she doesn't really care. There's really no point of her just trying to show any sorrow and compassion towards everybody. She's just trying to pursue her mission, and that's kind of what makes her and her character different. Frey didn't care about anybody because she was just trying to survive, as in her mother's point of view, she didn't care because she was just trying to pursue her mission. And all this was actually explained through the progression of the story, and I don't want to spoil it, but it actually shows how they conducted each other, and above all, it added closure to how they was beginning to conduct themselves. So, as how they felt towards each other and how everything was explained towards their actions, I'm gonna give it a pass on that. I'm gonna give it a pass on that because sometimes it's like real life, how you see people act a certain way, and no matter how things are, no matter if they having good days and bad days, they still act different. They still act like an asshole or whatever.
Am I
This was be
Back
this was because
in
of
your
that.
own time.
Hold on.
did I did Talia die?
Yes. Her final moments were the beginning of the end.
Oh
You
wow.
saw the bird. Thus was Susurrus called forth.
What does that mean? Did Talia become Susurrus?
No. As Eldacor said,
Let me put this on.
she was merely a vessel. And though Cinta tried her
Just in case if
hardest,
y'all don't hear me.
she was not able to prevent his return. His power grew over the years that followed, until Athia faced total destruction at his hand.
Stirring stuff. I'd shed a tear if I were able.
But where did Susurrus even come from? Aldecor couldn't have made him.
Indeed, no mortal could have created such an abomination. Susurrus owes his existence to a far more terrifying power.
A more terrifying power?
Interesting.
At least they explained what I was
I,
about to.
I don't even
what I
know
was
who
about
I'm
to talk
talking
about.
to. Who are you?
I am one of the Tantas of Reda.
You
Say
better
what?
explain and add closure because I don't think they're gonna
The
make it
answers you
Forspoken
seek
too.
lie beyond Athia's border. Come to me. I will be waiting.
Wait, no, wait, just hold on. Can you just...
What?
Great. Well, Cuff, I hope you're ready for a trip to Retta.
Home, sweet home. I'm sure the horrors awaiting us won't be too life-threatening.
Maybe another DLC that might come out, but I don't think they're gonna make a continuation of the
Did I
game, as
mention
far
how
as that.
marvelous it was to witness my illustrious rebirth? What a privilege for us both.
Not listening.
That's actually a nice view. So yeah, so the whole story basically was this was before like Frey's story. So you begin to understand where her mom's point of view was. Like, Athia was basically in peril, and then there was this person that was going around wreaking havoc and stuff. So so the mom character was just going around doing a cleanup operation, finding people that can help her pursue the main cause of the threat. And at the same time, the person that was helping her had certain abilities, but the side effect was the abilities was causing radiation to explode, which was causing her to do what she needed to do, which was kind of making her a little brain dead and emotionless.
because even though they was helping her out, they did not know that they had like a ticking time bomb of their powers beginning to be a double-edged sword. So that's when you begin to come into the story to try to get to the bottom of what was really going on in the past. So they explain a lot of her character, your character, and at the same time they explain a lot with Cuff's character of where he was originated. But my only problem was the pacing of it. The DLC was way too fast. It was way too quick. As soon as you get there, people was already dying, and there was no build up to like the Tantas or just how they was able to get this bond of theirs started. And at the same time, and this is actually a major disappointment, you don't play as the mom. You don't play as a mom at all. Now, it could be some debate of people saying that even if you play as a mom, the like combat is very similar to Phrase, which I can agree, but they both have certain differences of how they execute combat. I was peeping that. So all she is just a support character that you press a certain button. She helps you do devastator attacks, do counters. She can heal you if your health is too low, and that's basically it. That's all she does. And I was very disappointed when I was coming across this. When I was playing the DLC, I was not excited to play as Frey again. I was excited to play as a mom, and by her being a support character, I was like, nah, bro, we ain't doing this. The enemies, I noticed that they was trying to switch up the enemies difficulty setting because by this DLC only being a couple of hours long, you get the same enemies thrown at you, but the same enemies have maneuver sets of them switching up their tactics. You had the enemies that would come up to you close range. Those same enemies would shoot you in far range. Some of them would camp, and some of them would just do devastating attacks of their own. As into the regular Forspoken game, each enemy have their own ways for how to pursue you. So you already knew what enemy could do what. But on this one, same enemies are coming at you, so they all had different move sets of how they was gonna attack you. Um, yeah, you in one big map in the game, so it doesn't expand. Hold on, the following has been added to the main game. Okay, okay, yeah. So and then I instantly collected everything. All I didn't do was just enhance my abilities. I think that's like the only trophy I need to do, and I think I need to do some other stuff or whatever, like max out some other stats. Um, that's actually a not bad start menu. The main enemy was a letdown. The main enemy should have had way more to be explained for his character. He didn't really seem threatening and imposing. He was just an enemy that was just trying to take down Athia and just trying to worship the Greek god himself, Cuff. That was basically it. And then the final battle, it was fun, but at the same time, I instantly ended up understanding his maneuvers. I didn't die at all in this game. There was parts where I was close to death, but that was only because the enemies kept spamming the same move, and I was just kind of drifting off to the difficulty setting. That was basically it. But overall, people were saying that this was actually funner than the original game. I think people are saying that because of the expansion of you doing different move sets and you having people to counterate your character other than Cuff. That's the only thing. I felt like other than that, the DLC should have been a hell of a lot longer. I thought I was gonna spend all day playing this DLC, so I was a little disappointed. The collectibles could have been more fleshed out too. You were just getting these little trinkets. It's not. It's the same thing like the nails that you do that you have on your fingers, but you get like these little, like talismans to put on your hand, and they can add buffs to your character, and that's basically it. So overall, the game, the DLC was fun. I enjoyed it, but I wanted more of it, and each of the things was lacking certain materials of what made the DLC phenomenal. Story could have been fleshed out. Character development could have been fleshed out. Combat could have been fleshed out. Difficulty of the enemies was fine, but overall, I just wish that it could have been more lengthier. The main boss could have definitely would have been should have been more fleshed out. He should have been more. They should have been added more threatening and imposing scenes to his character. Dog is barking right now, so I'm going to go ahead and end this review by giving this DLC a C minus. it's a playable DLC, but not a memorable one. I'm just glad to get this game done and out of the way, so I can get so I could go forward to other games that I want to show you guys. But other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. I hope y'all enjoyed the review, and stay tuned for more reviews and more streams coming your way.